Hello and welcome to the Science Fiction Double Feature Podcast, Strayan Films Edition, the podcast that is just going to leave that huntsman there because he's minding his own business and he's going to catch all the flies. So, just settle down. Yes, normally we talk about all manner of movie news and so forth, but today we're just going to walk about an Australian film we've watched. So, say hello, Terry.
Hello, Terry.
There you are. How are you? You sound echoey.
Do I? Well, I've been banished to the garage, so there could be a little bit more echo than usual.
Yeah, not like critically echoey. Just it's fine. It's fine.
That's good.
Okay. So yes, we're going to talk about an Australian film we've watched. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Good. That sounds much better. Yes, we're going to talk about an Australian film we've watched because an Australian streaming service called Ozflix has launched. Is in beta. It hasn't launched properly, but I think you can join the beta if you go to ozflix.tv and follow the instructions. So there's a range of Australian films there, so we're going to every now and then watch one and just spend a few minutes talking about what we thought of it. So to kick things off, we watched the cult Australian film that maybe your dad talked about called Alvin Purple, alternatively titled, Alvin Purple is the original title, and then they changed it to The Sex Therapist because Man Called Purple was apparently too ridiculous. This is a film from 1973 starring Graham Blundell, who you may know from Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Also Jackie Weaver, Penny Hacksworth Bones, I think that lady's name is. Abigail from Number 96 is in this as well. It's about a guy called Alvin Purple who is irresistible to women. For no apparent reason. And then half the movie happens, and then he gets involved in a scheme to he's in league with a horrible regular therapist to treat women for their I don't even know. Well, yes.
Sexual inhibitions? Does that sound?
Supposed sexual dysfunction, except they're kind of just people, really. It's an odd film. I found it quite incredibly boring, to be honest. It takes half the running time of 90 minutes to actually get to any semblance of a plot. Before that, we go through, I think, like 20 minutes of waterbed salesmanship and installation. Kind of just peters out at the end, doesn't really conclude. There's a lot of set pieces, but they kind of just go on and on and on. It's interesting, I guess. You could arguably say this is like an interesting artifact of the history of sex in Australia, but it's kind of just a boring movie, I thought. What did you think of Alvin Purple?
I can see where you're coming from, but I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was quite funny. Of course, sex in it is somewhat softcore porn, but it's not used in that. It's used as more of a comedic element than anything else. But I do get where you're coming from, where it was boring, because I looked at the time, we were an hour into it, and I thought it'd been going on for well over an hour and a half.
It feels like it takes like you've watched 20 minutes of a movie and it's just 5. It's just, oh my god.
Yeah, it takes a little while to actually get to the crux of it, into the courtroom drama that happens in it. But I thought he was remarkable. I love this character. He's like just a Joe Blow, and he doesn't have money. He doesn't have the looks. He doesn't have the danger of Crocodile Dundee to lure the women in. And
is that okay? Right. Yep.
And he kind of doesn't even want it, but the women come flocking because he's just, I don't know, magnetic sexually for them or something. And it's interesting in that regard. and there are so many puns and double entendres in this. So I was quite happy with that. I like that sort of humor. I like puns. I like double entendres. It was very funny.
But they're reaching so much. It's like a whole sentence that just contains the word up, and
or
everyone just
extended.
loses it. Oh my god, you've got to extend yourself.
That's right.
Okay, fine, hilarious.
And of course, Spurs on a waterbed isn't going to work, but just keep going anyway. It's funny. I did a bit of research into me in Wikipedia because there's not much else on it. And in Wikipedia, they've actually got that this is adjusted for inflation, the 7th highest grossing Australian film of all time.
I'm not that surprised, to be honest.
I couldn't find the source. The source they linked didn't exist anymore.
Probably
but
Graham
it was
himself.
Well, it was from Film Victoria.
Oh, okay.
So supposedly it wasn't a real document that it got printed in. But yeah, I thought that was amazing. Like, made $4 million in 1973 at the Australian box office, which they reckon equates to something like 36 or 40 million dollars now. So yeah, I was actually quite impressed by those numbers, and I don't know, I liked it. I liked his character, that he didn't really want it, but he just had to go along with it anyway because that's who he was. And at the end, I don't think it just does peter out at the end, as you said. I think he actually finds some peace within himself, and the girl he actually is chasing isn't chasing him. I like that too.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, yeah, it's an interesting ending for this kind of movie because it's sort of that. It is that kind of bizarre film that I don't think really exists very much anymore, where very much the appeal is that you can go along to the movies and see some boobies. That was very much the appeal of this, and it's odd to watch it now because I kind of expect those scenes to have a point, and they don't.
No.
You get to see some skin, and that's literally why that scene is in the movie, and it's so odd.
I think they kind of made it for that reason, because I think it was about in 1971 that Australia got the R rating. This came out in 73. I thought it was, hey, we can do this now. Let's show a bit of skin. Let's show some wobbly bits here and there. And so I think that's what
that is the point. Yeah.
Yeah. And what about all the Benny Hill chase scenes?
Why? They just go for it. That car chase at the end just goes on.
I loved it.
And on. I do love like Charger and Peugeot 404 in a chase. That was kind of amazing. But it kind of just goes forever. Why do we have so many minutes of him skydiving? That was so strange.
Yeah, that was strange. I was like, when I was watching, I was like, Tim's going to enjoy this car chase. This is going to be Tim's favorite part of the movie. And I really enjoyed the car chase, and I really usually don't care. I thought this is actually done really, really well. And then he's in the plane, and they're about to go up, and people are honking him to stop. And they're like, no, stuff you. I'm going for a fly. It's like, there could have been something wrong with the plane. They don't know why they were trying to get him to pull over. There could have been a wing missing.
It is kind of amazing. They're just like, oh, there's a car following.
Stuff you.
The guy literally waves them off. It's like, I'm going skydiving. It's so strange. But it is like, it's from a time when no one knew how to edit a film. Because like the scene where he's tripping over stuff in the driveway on the way out of his teacher's wife's house.
Oh yes.
It goes forever. The car chase, which it does. It's got a charger, and I think that was like an early instance of product placement, because I know that Graham Blundell was later in ads for Charger, for the Valiant Charger. Yes, I don't know, but it goes forever. It's kind of aimless and pointless, and I did not enjoy watching this at all. It was a slog. It wasn't. It had some funny bits, but
which is funny because this was your choice to actually do.
It was my choice.
Yeah.
I'm glad I've seen it. That I've got it out of the way. I guess. I mean, it's a
Are you going to
curious
see
thing.
the sequel?
Alvin Purple rides again and again and again, or whatever it's called.
And there's another one called Melvin, Son of Alvin.
Wow. Okay. Really.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think that one's actually they changed the name of that to Foreplay
I see.
for that one. And it's funny the things Wikipedia tells you. I don't know how. I'm not going to say that this is 100% true, but because they're from Wikipedia, I couldn't actually verify the sources on it. But they reckon like the Foreplay, Melvin, son of Alvin, actually had 3 cuts to it, like 3 entire cuts, because they wanted to get it in the M rating. So they made 3 cuts of the film just to try and get it down.
Katie Manning is in this. Katie Manning from Doctor Who, who is also, I think, Barry Crocker's agent now, is in Melvin, Son of Alvin.
I was surprised to see how young Jackie Weaver was. I really haven't seen her in anything in the 70s, so just recent films, really. Yeah.
What is? Yeah, I don't know. I know that name. Was she in Cop Shop? I don't know.
I know she was in Goldstone that just came out this year, and she was in Last Cab to Darwin last year.
And Silver Linings Playbook. And The
mm.
Voices. She was in The Voices. That's what I know her from.
Yeah. I reckon that judge was one of the funniest parts of this movie. The judge in the courtroom.
Yeah, he was quite.
And he had some of the best lines. Like, this trial has been one of the most enjoyable experiences of my 30 years on the bench.
Yeah, pretty good. Did you notice that many of the women in this film were English? There weren't a lot of Australian accents going on.
No, I didn't pay that much attention to the accents, I have to say.
Really? Okay. Yeah,
That's not what caught my eye, if you know what I mean. But so you would not recommend this film to people?
Not unless if you've ever heard of it and you're curious. I mean, there's worse ways to spend 90 minutes, but I'm telling you now, you're going to be disappointed.
Well, so I watched it with my wife, and we both laughed and chuckled through it. We had pretty much had a good time, but it did run long. As I said, we got to the 100-minute mark, or the 90-minute, the 1 hour mark. Sorry, my math is way off today. I got to the 1 hour mark and went, how much longer has this got to go? And it still had like a full half hour, which it already felt like it happened. But overall, I did enjoy it, and I would say it is worth seeing. Just to pass the time on a Saturday night is a bit of entertainment if you've got nothing else to watch.
And you can always just marathon. Well, you can't marathon all 3. I think this is the only one that's on Ozflix at the moment.
At the moment.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll be hanging out for. I'm not hanging out for Alvin, son of Melvin, or whatever it's called.
Melvin, son of Alvin.
Yeah, Jerry Sant. Who is Jerry Sant as Melvin? He's in Superman Returns. Oh, he's from Home and Away. Of course, he's from Home and Away.
We're all from Home and Away, aren't we?
He's from Brett Macklin, FBI. Home and Away literally had a character called Brett Macklin. I never knew that. Oh my god. He was in All Saints briefly. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to stop looking at IMDb. I guess. Should we wrap up? I guess we should.
Yeah, I might just add Ozflix. It is in the beta stages at the moment. I think it becomes available to the public on Australia Day. I think I read that somewhere along the lines. And yeah, at the moment there's like 100 Australian films on there for the beta testers, and then there'll be like 2,000 when they actually go live publicly on it. So I think that'll be really, really good. I'm really keen to get in to see some of these older Australian films and new Australian films, actually discuss them. I think a lot of them are worth seeing, even the bad ones.
What's Newsfront? We can amaze ourselves at the split screen effects of the Maitland flood, which are genuinely it's a genuinely good effect. I'm not even laughing. Newsfront is quite good. Anyway, Yes. Okay. So that's probably it from us. If you want to read the main blog, it's at sfdfmoviereviews.tumblr.com. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/sfdfmoviereviews. We're on Twitter at sfdfmoviereview singular. If you want to listen to the podcast, we're at soundcloud.com/sfdf or wherever good SoundClouds are found. You can find us on iTunes. Just search SFDF. You can email us at inspace@gmail.com. Specifically do that if you can think of very Australian cinematic things that SFDF can stand for, because that would be really useful for us. And the best I've come up with is Strayan films done fancy, and that's terrible. So we need a good acronym. So if you got something, sling us an email. Yes, and if you want to find links to all those things, because I said them too quickly, or other good stuff, it's down the right side of the main blog, which again is at sfdfmoviereviews.tumblr.com. Okay, I guess that's about it. Say goodbye, Terry.
Before I say that, I might just say, if anyone actually has suggestions of Australian films you want to hear us view or see, tweet us or Facebook us, whatever Tim just said. Shoot us a line and just tell us what you want us to review. That'd be super helpful. And yeah, so now I'll say goodbye, Terry.
Bye, everybody.